U.S. Air Force deploys B-52s to Europe in message to Russia. The U.S. Air Force recently deployed 6 nuclear-capable B-52 bombers to Europe for theater. A bomber task force of B-52 Stratofortresses, airmen, and support equipment from the 2nd Bomb Wing based out of Barksdale Air Force Base, Louisiana, arrived at RAF Fairford late last week and has been participating in various training missions across Europe, according to the service. On Monday, 4 B-52s conducted B-52 bombers from Andersen Air Force Base, Guam, and RAF Fairford have also conducted simultaneous. Collectively, weighing 185,000 pounds, the B-52 first entered service in the 1950s during the height of the Cold War, originally designed to serve as long-range, high-altitude intercontinental nuclear bombers that could strike deep into the Soviet Union. The newest B-52 entered service in 1962, and the 159-foot plane became a Cold War icon. The planes have been modified heavily since the end of the Cold War and have been upgraded with precision-guided missiles, electronics, and high-tech sensors. Each aircraft, tensions between the US and Russia have steadily increased in recent months following Russia's in November. Russia's actions and its detention of the Ukrainian sailors prompted President Donald Trump to cancel a planned meeting with Russian President Vladimir Putin during the G20 summit in Argentina last year. Moscow has continued to ramp up its own military presence in the region, prompting the US to do the same. But the top US commander in the region says it doesn't appear to be working. I am up in. This week, 2 Russian generals said Moscow plans to send nuclear-capable bombers and medium-range missiles to the peninsula but quickly retracted their statements. Still, NATO lashed out at Russia for its wide. While Trump's long-standing criticism of NATO over burden-sharing costs continues to hang over the 29-member military alliance, the U.S. has increased its military presence in Europe during his administration as the U.S. and Europe seek to counter Russia's actions in the region. Trump has been reluctant to publicly criticize Russia throughout his time in office, but the U.S. Congress enacts targeting Putin for various affronts, including the annexation of Crimea. But that has done little to deter Putin from insisting the Ukrainian territory rightfully belongs to Russia. Putin traveled to Crimea this week and rallied crowds by saying, "A new powerful Russia has emerged that will stand up for its interests." U.S. Special Representative for Ukraine Kurt Volker said on Monday that Volker said the U.S. would be willing to provide additional arms sales to on the possibility of Ukraine joining NATO in the near future. Volker said he couldn't predict. He noted it depends. Volker said the international community would continue to sanction Russia until Crimea was restored to Ukraine. He also deflected what?
Raindrop, truck top smoking, no cooking the hot pot. Fucking on your bitch, yeah, that. Looking up, open the park.